That was Happiness in Liquid Form from Alfie Templeman. We're also joined by Cam Owden, who is the bass player. Guys, how are you doing? Thanks for coming on and hanging out.
Great.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Alfie, I know that you are in the same boat as me and John Henry. I'm not sure about Cam, but we have all had 18th birthdays in lockdown. Alfie, how did you take that on, and did you make it as special as you can?
I mean, it was decent. I just had a few drinks with the parents, which is, to be honest, I've never really done anything that fancy, but it was a bit of a bummer, just being stuck at home. But I don't know about you guys. How was it for you? Was it all right?
Pretty dismal, really. What can you do?
Yeah,
it's pretty sad to think that I've been 18 since September and I've yet to go on a night out. That's
really?
That's the hardest thing. Is
that's
like,
right.
What about you, Cam? When are you 18?
So I had a birthday. I'm kind of the dad of the group. I'm 22 now, so slowly fading into retirement. I just had a takeaway and that was it. And that's kind of no different to a standard nice evening to have a takeaway and watch some like films or something.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing.
Pretty dead birthday.
Yeah.
We'll all make up for it after this is over, basically. Get down the pub.
The tour's going to be wild.
You say but that's the thing. You say like, you're 22, but you're going into retirement. I'm not sure about that, because I think Alfie's keeping your career going for a little bit longer.
Hopefully. It would be ideal if he could.
He's not furloughing you just yet.
Not yet.
Sorry, you got a while yet. Sorry, mate.
There was kind of a running joke on the first tour where I was constantly just saying, only got a year left of this kind of thing. But little did I know I was actually right. So
we had to put that on hold.
Yeah.
Year left thing.
All right, well, let's play Like an Animal, and then we'll get back to Cam and Alfie after this.
So let's go back to the start of your career, which, to be fair, wasn't even that long ago. Like, the first track I heard from you was Like an Animal. We just played it. That only came out in 2018. So it's been such a fast rise to popularity with your music, and particularly with being in lockdown for a good chunk of it. Like, how does it feel like you've even processed it all?
It's a weird one because I kind of took off properly last year in 2020 when all of this stuff happened. And because we haven't done that many gigs, it's kind of like, wow, I've literally been stuck in my room. So I got on the FIFA soundtrack last year and stuff, and it was
exactly.
I haven't gone anywhere. Like, how has this happened? I've literally been stuck in my room, and all of this stuff's happened outside of me in a different world, basically. So it's really weird. But yeah, definitely when I put out like an Animal and the first couple records, it was like, this is awesome, I'm loving this. But when you're stuck inside, there's only so much you can really. It's kind of incredible just thinking about how people are listening to you all around the world while you're stuck in this room. So it was weird to take in, but also great.
And how long have you been playing with Alfie, Cam? Has that been from day one, or did you come on later? So
I joined a couple months before the sports team tour, which was late 2019. So I was the latest member of the band to join. But yeah, it was a very sudden ramp up from joining, doing a few practices. Oh, this is cool, to all of a sudden we're playing the Kentish Town Forum with sports team. It was such I can only imagine how it's been for Alfie for his whole career. Because like you said, it's been such a short time frame for it to suddenly it hasn't even exploded. It's multiple explosions, all the way through. And hearing songs like the one on the Fifa soundtrack, Wish I Was Younger, hearing him write tracks about nostalgia and wishing he was younger when he's just turned 18 has always been something that's quite sort of funny for me, but something I can really appreciate because it allows more people than just people that are his age to kind of relate to his music.
Yeah. Do either of you play FIFA, by the way? What do you do when your song comes on?
I played FIFA once when I was 12.
Yeah.
So
they sent him a copy and I was so butthurt.
I feel like
I still haven't played the new FIFA.
But how did you find out about it, Alfie? Did management just tell you, was it not until it come out and then they tell you that you're on it?
No. They told us a couple months before it actually dropped. They were like, "Could we use your song? We're just putting together a soundtrack." And I was like, yeah, of course, that would be amazing. Saying that because I was just thinking for my future kids and grandkids, I could just tell them, I was on FIFA. So you know.
It is quite an exclusive group. It is, you know.
Yeah.
There is only a certain amount of people on that list.
I remember I spoke to Jungle about it. I was like, yeah, I'm on FIFA, and they're like, oh, we've been on it twice. That's nothing.
It is like a bit of a rite of passage, isn't it? For like indie bands particularly, it's such a good soundtrack for that kind of music.
Yeah, it's the ultimate kind of flex, really, for indie bands.
I was going to say it's also a huge gateway to kind of like different audiences, because like Alfie, like, it didn't strike me as the kind of person that football Twitter would listen to, but now sort of all of my mates who are from like that side of like Twitter and everything start messaging me just like, I swear the band you're in comes up on FIFA, and I get to kind of be like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would have never expected football Twitter to ever listen to my music. I would have, you know, I'm the kind of person that they make fun of, but it's kind of nice that they do like it.
But that's kind of the crazy thing about it as well, is, you know, people like Bastille, you know, it's made their songs big, and it's like, you know, it's kickstarted a lot of careers, which is kind of crazy. It's almost like the previous TikTok, if that makes sense.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that that's the reason for your success, Alfie, but you know what I mean? Like, there's some artists out there that literally have gone on and got record deals because of being on the FIFA soundtrack.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing how like the FIFA soundtrack can pick up so many amazing artists, isn't it? It's like such a like crazy way to get signed, but it happens, and it's same with TikTok, like you said. Like I just find it's so easy nowadays, especially with TikTok and stuff, for anyone to just get themselves out there a lot more and just blow up. And it's a good thing, if anything, because it just means that, you know, nowadays people admire people that can do it from their bedroom and just make music by themselves, which is great.
Makes opportunities a whole lot less sort of exclusive, which I think is really important.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
So you're still very early in your career, but you've already covered a lot of bases really with like musical styles. Because, you know, like an Animal EP was very psychedelic sounding, and then more recently you've been going for this more kind of 80s bedroom pop sort of vibe thing. What do you have, like a next sound you want to tick off the list and have a go at?
Yeah, it's a really weird one, actually. I'm a massive progressive rock fan, and I've always wanted to kind of make something a bit like King Crimson, Rush, Yes kind of stuff. Like one of my heroes is Todd Rundgren, and
I heard you say this, which is a shout.
Yeah, he's like just the shapeshifter of like genres in general. Like he can just go from like making a pop record to like just something crazy. Like he had a band called Utopia that were just like completely nuts, like just prog all over. So yeah, I'm just open to do anything really. I might end up making a disco record in a couple of years or something, you know. Punk record.
So let's sticking with the early part of your career, right when you started, and you're, I believe, like 13 or 14 years old, and were you working between like a building site or something? Is that correct?
Well, I helped my dad out a little bit because my dad's a builder. So in the summer holidays, I used to just like help him out and stuff. But it was never really great for me because I'm asthmatic. So it just made me cough a bunch. And yeah, I was rubbish. So I was like, yeah, this ain't happening. Because like when I was younger, I was like, right, I'm either going to be a musician or just work for my dad and become a builder. And it's funny because now he's my tour manager.
Really? Is he really tour manager?
Yeah. The best part of being on tour is Martin and Jason. They're the two like best parts of it.
Yeah, my dad's friend Jason, he's like our roadie as well. So it's just, you know, it's just fun. It's just fun having two like the dads of the group just like.
So does he have any kind of like experience in that, or is he just winging it?
He's just doing great. He's so good at it. I mean, he just loves music, so it makes it easier.
Well, you said before about his extensive, you know, collection of guitars that you sort of ended up picking up and playing along. And do you still do that? Has he given them all to you then, or are they on tour with you, or what?
He bought one yesterday. Like he's just about 50 now. It's getting
the man's got a problem.
My mum's threatening to kick him out of the house and stuff at this point. Like, it's not really, but no, it's getting like that bad. Like, we have that many guitars, and I keep buying them all the time. In fact, there's like one behind me that my dad just like he comes down.
12 string.
Yeah, it's lovely. We've just got everything, and he just goes on eBay and buys ones for like £100. You know, just like
Martin's very much like the perfect storm of like independent businessman and having that savvy, but also like, because being your own business, it's like he's got that mind to him, but also he just absolutely loves music and instruments and stuff. When we were in Kent, we walked into this unassuming music shop, and at the back of the store was a left-handed Fender Speed Shop Custom at the back, and he was sweating for about 3 days straight at the thought that he didn't pick up that guitar. Like, it really
Did he not go get it? Did he not go back and get it?
About that.
No,
Yeah.
he went back like a day or two later and it was gone, I think.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, that was painful. I think that hit.
So, you know, Alfie, you were sort of producing, and I presume you still are producing a lot, you know, a huge percentage of your record. And I don't know, Cam, do you help out? Do you do a lot of producing, or are you part of the writing process at all?
So on two of the tracks that are going to be on the next record, I've been more involved in, but for the most part, I've wanted to like keep my distance because I don't want to like tread on any toes, because when you're working with someone that's put out like 5 great projects at the age of 18, there's only so much you can really add. But on two of the tracks, it's got my bass and sometimes my voice, and being able to add that is great. I do my own thing on the side, but when it comes to Alfie, I try and like let him do his thing, and if he wants like a hand or anything, then I'm kind of happy to help.
Oh,
yeah, we've just done a great one called Hideaway that's coming out on the new record. It's track free, and I think it's the closest thing we've really got to anything that's progressive. It's almost like progressive pop. It's just very, very different to what I've done before. And
it's quite a dark song, because a lot of your songs are quite bright when it comes to the instrumental, but can be quite dark lyrically. But this one, like the verses sound like what a supervillain would bump in the car when he was on the way to like rob a bank or something. But then the chorus just goes into pure funk, which is like a real, I can't even remember a lot of writing that song. We kind of just blanked out, and after 2 hours we had this piece in front of us.
It was the day before lockdown as well last year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really exciting. I'm excited to hear that. Just to ask, we had Forever Isn't Long Enough to play next. Do you guys, Alfie, do you have a song that you would rather us play, or do you want us to play that, or what would you like?
No, that's a good one, because we like playing that one, and it's quite a band kind of song. Like, we all have good parts in it, so 100%.
Wicked. Well, this is Forever. This is Forever Isn't Long Enough from Alfie Templeman, and we'll get more from him after this.
That's Forever Isn't Long Enough by Alfie Templeman. Who's playing the drums on this track? Because they're really like the standout feature. Is it you?
Yeah, I play everything in it. Yeah.
It's Phil Collins over here.
It's so good.
God. Actually, Phil Collins is a great drummer. Love him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, do you have like a setup at home, or is that like a studio thing? Do you have a drum kit at home?
Yeah, I've got a Mapex at home that I play about on. But funnily enough, I actually did that one out in California. It's like the first time I really traveled away from home to record something. And it was with Kid Harpoon, who does like Harry Styles' stuff. So it was great fun. We just, I had this like rough idea for a song that I wrote when I was 14, and we kind of just finished it off with him. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, you said about you were only 14 writing this track, which is just ridiculous. Like, is that like a one-off, or do you have like a load of music from that?
Funnily enough, most of the new record is actually written when I was 14. There's one called Everybody's Got Somebody that's written when I was 14. And I've actually got about over 500 songs in the bank now, and they're all written and recorded.
500?
Yeah.
You could put out about 75 albums. You're sorted.
Yeah,
Alfie, mate, you are one of a kind. This is insane. This is insane.
I think the craziest thing about all of these tracks is if you listen to them all back to back, you wouldn't know which ones would be made in California and which ones would be made on the drum kit at his house, or for some of the tracks on this like upcoming EP, it's drums where he's literally got me to hold a mic next to some hi-hats. He hits them, gets me to hold a mic next to some snare drums. I like beat a pillow against the bed, and he just creates a drum sound from it.
I haven't got time for drum like mic stands and stuff, so I just get Cam to hold him.
So he uses bassists.
That's insane. I mean, Alfie, to have 500 songs, at this point, but to be writing songs like which I hope you don't mind me saying this. We're going to play Everybody's Gonna Love Somebody in a minute.
Yeah.
And that song, I personally, for a person that listens to a lot of music and talks to a lot of people in the industry and stuff, that is your best song yet, personally.
Mate,
I think.
thank you so much. It's my favourite.
Is it? Is it really?
Yeah, definitely. I just enjoy the vibe that it gives off, to be honest. Like, I'm really, really happy with that one. And considering that it's like really old now, I would have thought that by now I wouldn't, really enjoy it. But I'd say that's probably my favourite song I've made. Yeah.
Oh, wicked. A few, because it's my favourite as well. So I didn't want
brilliant.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, when John Henry said, "Oh, you wrote that when you were 14," we actually had to go and fact check that because that's just not normal. That's not normal.
Man.
It's a really special song.
Really
you get the feeling like when we played it all together as a band, because we've only had a few experiences of playing some of the new songs on the record, like as a band. It's just one of those feelings where we played it for the first time and we all just looked at each other, like that kind of like recognition of like, that was like good.
Yeah. It's the same thing with like Forever Isn't Long Enough as well, isn't it? Like the whole new record, we kind of just like played it. And we were just like, yeah, this sounds great, because it just sounds that little bit bigger than what I've done in the past. Like it feels
it's a project that deserves to be played live, for sure.
Well, talking about live, that moves me very neatly on to the next topic of conversation, which is we're heading towards summer. The big topic of conversation the last couple of weeks has been festivals. Now, Alfie, I'm not going to ask you to divulge what festivals you may or may not be playing this summer, because you're probably not allowed to tell us. But I've got my tickets to several festivals, Reading and Boardmasters. What about you? Are you guys, are you excited? This, like you said, you're just wanting to get out there and play this new music. And I think not sure there is an artist as exciting as you right now that has so much new music that needs to get on that scene this summer and explode, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we're very excited for that. Like you said, we've got so many new songs. Like since we went into lockdown, we've got so many new songs that we want to play live.
What is it? 3 projects? Or something that would come out.
We could literally double the set, you see. So we're really keen on just, playing the new songs that people know probably just as much as our old stuff, but haven't got to see it live in the past year because, of lockdown and stuff. So I think it's going to have a massive impact. Just like the first time, whenever we play our first show since all of this has happened, it's just going to be just magical because, there's new songs.
That's the best way to describe it. Magical. I think that's because a lot of people say, oh, it's going to be insane. It's going to be, mental, everyone's going to be mental, but magical is the word, because it's just never, ever been needed so much. Cam, are you excited then? You must be excited to get out and do what you want.
Oh, massively. I'm very much the person in the band that kind of goes mental on stage. Like I jump into crowds, I get pits going to Yellow Flowers and stuff like that. It's very the live performance is very much where I belong, because I've been a sound engineer as well as a live performer. So I understand what goes into the whole package. Don't get me wrong, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not going to allow myself to be fully excited until I hear the music that plays before we go on, which is normally the Wii Music Shop music or something like that.
But this is the thing, right? Because me and my mates, we all go to say Reading Festival. Let's just use that for example. And we would get up on stage and we would love it. We'd sound horrendous. We'd empty the tent, but we would have a blast, right? But you guys, you get up there, you are all mates, you have a blast, and you get thousands of people watching you. That must be, Alfie, what is it like to be in that situation?
I mean, it's one of those feelings, probably the best feeling in the world. You can't really actually describe it. It's better than being drunk, to be honest. It's just before you walk on, you're so nervous, but it feels good. It's like a good nerve. And it's I'm so you're flowing. You can feel from head to toe, you're just flowing. You're ready to go on. You jump on stage. Everyone's going wild and just so much is happening in such a short time. Playing a set it feels like 2 minutes long. It's you're just blasting through songs, which is half the reason we have an SPD to keep us in time, or else we just play the set in a second.
Play it 20 BPM faster.
Yeah, exactly. But I get really bad stage fright before I go on because I get so excited and stuff. And
I think that's kind of half the work before going on stage, is trying to keep you sort of calm and grounded. But as soon as you step on stage, you kind of just flip the switch and you're there.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's just the build up, There's so much time before you go on stage, and you never know.
Nerves, as in like, because obviously, you are still, you're only 18 years old, and the success you've had so far is insane. But would you say it's the pressure that gives you stage fright, or is it just the nervousness? You might not be able to sing, you might forget the words. Do you know what it sort of is?
I always forget words anyway. So that doesn't. I actually used to make words up on stage,
Yeah.
But it's, to be honest, it's just you create. They always say about worries, they're normally things that don't happen. It's just casual little worries that I build up in my head. I'm worried that people aren't gonna like applaud or something, and it's gonna be really awkward. But it never happens.
Finish the song and it's stone dead silent.
It's like that. It's kind of like a bad fever dream almost. You don't want it to go that way. You just want to have a fun time. So all you got to do is give it your all, make sure that people get their money's worth, and just be nice at the end of the day. Just enjoy yourself and talk to people. They're just, if they're waiting outside for you, then they're going to have a good time. They've come to see you. So just, play a good show for them, as far as I'm concerned.
For sure. I think it's a testament to kind of the diverse characters in the band, that like the way that we all deal with going on stage kind of thing is very different. Like we all have our little things that we kind of focus on before going on. Like Alfie gets nervous, but I'm the complete opposite, where I'm kind of stone cold, stolid, like unemotional before going on stage. But as soon as I get on there, like under the lights, it feels like, I don't know, driving down Rainbow Road, but everything's reverbed. Like it's just kind of like a massive trip.
Yeah,
like
that's the best,
the whole performance.
That is the best way I've ever heard someone explain performing, like walking down Rainbow Road with reverb.
With reverb, I didn't hear that bit.
Yeah.
So you're putting out a mini album called Forever Isn't Long Enough, and what's the difference between a mini album and an EP? Are you just trying to like rebrand stuff?
It's just a mini album. I don't know.
Are you avoiding like a debut album? Is this just putting it off?
Funnily enough, it's not even that. I could have just banged a few more songs onto this one and called it my first, but it just felt like, I just wanted to make something that was a bit more than an EP, but I felt that because I made this when I was 17, you see, it just felt like I wasn't quite ready for the first album. I want to get that like, really right. And I've been working on that for like the last couple years. So I didn't want to make an EP again, because sometimes EPs feel like you can only cram so much into them. There's little substance. You can't really. Whenever I've made an EP, I've always tried to make it almost like half an album rather than just an EP, just a collection of songs. But with this mini album, it just felt like an album anyway. So I was just like, yeah, let's call it a mini album. And it originally started off as an EP and just ended up, it had enough songs to be like a bit longer than an EP, but not enough to really call it like a full length kind of debut. So
for sure, there's I think another thing is you look at the track list, and after listening to it, for me anyway, I wouldn't know what song to cut to make it an EP, because there's like the right amount of songs for the sounds on there kind of thing. And I know Alfie's like had a vision for the debut album. Like he's, since probably the first time that I spoke to him, it's always been, I want this for the album. I want it to be my vision. And it's the kind of thing where I don't think he's willing to settle for less than that. So I think this is very much its own creation. Because if you think of the amount of stuff that he's made, like over the past like year and a bit alone, like the recent Aerial Days project that he made that in a day. Like the amount of stuff that he's just kind of been able to cobble together, and it's a real testament that he's able to whittle it down to such a small number, but you can't really go any smaller than this next sort of mini album.
Yeah,
that's
so
really,
really
interesting.
I was going to ask how much of it is done, but it was probably finished like 6 years ago when you were 12.
Finished it on his 15th birthday.
Yeah, I made it between January last year to August. So it's literally like, the way I see it, at least the way I see EPs in like this mini album, is that it's almost like it's like the last 6 months, like what I've learned basically. It's like what how I've got better and what I've learned. It's like what I've taken from like the success of like Happiness in Liquid Form, and now I've put it into this, and like, here we go. This is the next project, like put it into the world. But for the album, it's like, here's what I've learned in the last like 3 years rather than just like the last few months. It's like the ultimate kind of like, okay, this is me so far in my life, but this is kind of like the last kind of push.
I think that's a really, really interesting. And I'm quite fascinated by the way that you are doing it, because, there's a lot of artists coming through and stuff that rush to get that first debut album out, whether that is pushed by them, which is perfectly fine, because they put out amazing debut albums, or it's pushed by their team or their management, or they just only have 15 songs that they've got. And they think, right, well, let's just put a debut album out. And I think you're in a really fortunate position to be able to put these mini albums out, put a few singles out, put out an EP, a couple of EPs. And that's really, really cool to then, and like you say, you're only 18, and I know, and you've had this, success so far, but you've got time to make that debut album the best thing you've ever done.
Exactly.
And that's genius.
That's literally what I want to do. Just make it like, just a moment in my career, like, because it's kind of what people will look back at. The debut's got to be right, and it's got to be exactly what I want. And I'm really happy with how it's turned out so far. And I'm writing bits of the second album as well, just so I know that I'm not going to run out or anything. So I always like to be a bit like a step ahead, just in case, because I've seen
album ahead
artists artists kind of like, I've seen artists like make their first album and it's like, great, okay, what happens now? And I don't want to kind of fall into that step.
No, exactly. And that's what I mean. That you've aced it. And I think it's really, really, really exciting, Alfie.
Thank you.
So we mentioned it earlier, Everybody's Gonna Love Somebody, your new single. We both agreed that that's your best song yet, and our favorite. There's something reassuring about it, and there's some level of hope in there that I find absolutely astounding, that you wrote that when you were 14, to have that level of, like, I could not write a song about, reassurance of hope and things like that. And, two people, or there's somebody for everybody at the age of 14.
Yeah, I think it's just, I wanted to make something pretty universal, something that's quite simple. And I like reworded some of the lyrics. Not most of them are just the same, but it just, like, I've been sitting on it for so long. It just felt like now was the right time to kind of put it out there. Like, people actually need that. People need to be reassured. And the whole thing about like nostalgia being lost inside you. It's like thinking about the memories you had before all of this happened, and like just going back, touching upon old ground, and just like enjoying yourself, trying to remember good times to get through the, tough times at the moment. So that was the whole idea of it, really. Just making something that's a bit universal, and just, basically hold on, because, you're going to have someone that's going to be there for you. Just like get through this tough bit and you'll be okay, basically. And
the music video, the Muppet, or the puppet, I should say, more like, where did that come from?
That was Thomas, the guy that directed it, Thomas Davis. He just came up with this great idea, and I was just like, I loved it instantly. Just the whole idea of Brian, the male puppet, looking for Susie, the female puppet.
Oh, it has a name. I didn't realize that.
Brian and Susie.
Can we make it like a recurring character and have this kind of like cinematic?
It's gonna be.
Universe?
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Yeah, they're nice. I like them, Brian and Susie.
Can I also ask, where was that film? Because to me, that looked like you were on, in California.
It was a chalk farm, wasn't it?
It was
something like that.
California. No, it was in Suffolk.
I said this earlier when we were planning the interview. I said, I bet it's somewhere like really kind of droll and uninteresting, and it's just like being color graded to look like.
Yeah. Oh,
wait, what's wrong with Suffolk?
Well, no, nothing. But
it was like a quarry kind of place in Bury St Edmunds, and it just looked really cool.
No, that's 20 minutes from me.
Really?
Yeah. That's 20 minutes from where I'm sat right now.
Jeez, you should go down there.
Shoot another music video.
Yeah, shoot one for me.
Yeah, I'll do that. Alfie and Cam, we really, really appreciate you taking time to speak to us on Soundcheck. Cam, you have the final word.
I have the final word. Oh God, don't get me started. I say too many of them as it is. Well, I guess look forward to the new project coming out. It's hopefully people are going to love it as much as we do, because I think it's been one of the things where we've all been practicing and playing it, and in our case, writing it over the past year. So it's like been something that we've kind of been stuck in this echo chamber with. So as soon as it's out in the world, like we can kind of share that experience with everyone. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Amazing. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.